Hi everyone. Today we have with us Mr. Rohit Sharma, who is the founder and principal migration agent at Migration Star. My first question to you, Mr. Rohit, is that how did you get into the migration space? What was your journey like, and what was the first initial thought that led you through this journey?
See, getting into migration space wasn't a tough decision for me because I moved to Australia in 2007 as a student, and I've lived this life. How the students come to Australia when they migrate from other countries, and what kind of problems they face. I have been through this process thoroughly, from getting admissions, choosing courses, and applying visas. And once I came to Australia, I had to get my other uh, application processes through other migration agents. So it was a long journey, about 5 years, which took me to get my permanent residency. So as I said that lived this life. I did my master's in IT here when I came here, and then because of the experience I had with other agents and with my own application, I knew some policies, but then I thought that I should study Australian migration law. So in 2016, I studied the diploma in Australian migration law, and therefore the journey started. And I thought I should help people or students who come from abroad to make their journey more easy and more transparent, that they shouldn't face the problems I have faced.
What was the exact year when Migration Star came into being?
Migration start, as I said that I did my course in 2016. So I registered myself with the immigration department as a Mara agent in 2017. And since then, we have been uh, helping people to achieve their goals.
As you know, that today's podcast is centered around student visas. I think we should start right away with the questions. Just to give you the order, the sequence of the podcast, first we would be starting with the basic questions, right? So, the first question to you is, when we speak of pursuing international education in Australia, how would you describe the current landscape given the re election?
Well, I personally believe that nothing would have much has changed since the same government has been elected in Australia again. They made their mind very much clear in 2024 when they changed the migration policies. Well, the Australian international education landscape in 2025 has become more competitive and compliance driven than ever. The government has made clear moves to strengthen the integrity of student visa, particularly by, when they increase the visa fees from $710 to $1,600, even tightening the GTE requirements, and they have increased scrutiny of low quality providers and non genuine applications.
Okay. And how would you describe an ideal student visa in 2025? What are the parameters that every student must look towards and follow to have a strong application per se?
Well, I personally believe nothing much has changed when, as particular you are asking 2025, since from the beginning of student visa, the ideal application was for the genuineness of the student with the clear study to career path. Means students should have a genuine intent to study when they move to Australia. They must be, financially prepared, meeting the updated financial capacity benchmarks. Their courses must be aligned academically with their chosen course. and they must have a clear career path and ties to their home country clearly because it's a temporary visa. So the government look uh, particular for when we talk about genuine temporary entrant or genuine student test, that someone who is coming to study in Australia, they must go back in their own country uh, to so they can work there by using Australian academics.
From the point of view of an expert like you, how would you guide a student to choose the right course and the right institution for a successful visa application?
Well, my advice would be always start with your career outcome in your mind and then choose a course that builds towards that goal. Ensure it that aligns with your academic background, fits within a CRI course registered institutions, and preferably is in a genuine skill shortage area. So at Migration Star, we help clients map their academic interests to visa friendly outcomes, balancing personal goals and compliance criteria.
Right. So, as a student, there are a lot of financial questions that arise in one's mind. So, how would you describe the financial checklist, that the updated financial list which we need to follow in 2025?
Well, absolutely, the financial capacity requirement has been significantly increased. Applicants must show funds to cover 12 months of living expenses, which is at the moment around 2000, pardon me, $29,710 for a primary applicant. Plus, they need to show tuition fee for the first year, and they need to add their travel cost. So see, it is something like how I look into the applicant's financial profile is that the funds must be genuine. They must have either it means if they're coming to study in masters, it can be supported by their parents, their brothers, sisters, even with the aunt and uncle can show their funds. But whoever is showing funds must have a income source proof and genuine funds access that it can be used to support applicants' um, academic journey in Australia.
All of this is basically the part of pre-application, right? So how would you say that Migration Star specifically would help smoothen this process for the client?
Well, we provide end-to-end advisory, um, course and institution selections, financial documentation planning, drafting strong GT statements or genuine student statements. We also train students how they can, uh, you know, write about their own goals, keeping their career path in their mind, and ensuring all documents are compliant and decision ready. We also train our education partners to ensure upstream integrity in the application process, reducing errors and increasing success rates.
Now it's time for our rapid fire segment, which is called the Star Speed Round. So I will give you rapid fire questions and you have to answer them within 15 seconds. So are you ready?
Oh, I didn't expect that. No, I'm ready. I'll see what I can do. I didn't expect that coming.
Yes. So the first question to you is three elements of a strong student visa application.
Well, must say number one is genuine intent. Number second would be a financial capacity, and third would be a clear understanding of their career path.
All right. Next question. Three most common mistakes applicants make, and your time starts now.
Oh, well, I've been through so many applications. When we asked people to, okay, it's 3 points. I must say, first is people weak or copied SOPs, uh, which is a statement of purpose, incomplete financial proofs, and mismatched course selection.
So the next question is, how long does the visa process typically take? The whole process from start to finish. How long does it take?
Well, usually 4 to 6 weeks for most decision ready applications.
Which are the five most in demand courses for students?
All right. Currently, I would rate number one nursing or healthcare courses. Then IT and cybersecurity. IT is always in demand. Um, and the other sector is education. It could be early childhood or secondary. And last one, I would say that the number four would be social work, or all the trade courses are always in demand. And we cannot rate out engineering. So these are the courses people should be looking if they have anything in their mind to make their career.
Final rapid fire question is, what is an underrated advice you would like to give to students for their student visa application? One underrated yet powerful advice.
Well, I would say that treat your SOP like a legal affidavit. Make it personal, precise, and persuasive. Do not copy it. Just write what your plans are. It should show case to the department or a minister or the officer that what your goals are and what you would like to achieve out of it.
Okay, so that is the end of our rapid fire. Thank you for being precise yet giving us all the answers that we needed. So, the final segment of the podcast would be in relation to the most commonly asked questions from a student about their visa application process. And I have a list of questions, so you can answer them in detail and try to be as explanatory as possible. So, the first question your way is, what are the biggest benefits of studying abroad versus staying in one's home country? Why should students actually go to Australia to study?
Well, I have to be very diplomatic about this answer. I should, because I cannot deny that the home countries do not have this education system. But the main benefit of coming abroad is it will give more, opportunities to the student when they come to the international level universities, and they get chance to explore different education system, whereas at home countries that's what you have been doing. And especially in Australia, which has a very great education system and well acknowledged by around the world. And when people come here on a student, it also provide them to um, upskill their what have I mean their skills. They get evolved in their own um, uh, the way of thinking. They think in home countries what they are looking around is that what has been following for many years, but when they move to um, countries like Australia, or any other well-developed country, they get opportunity to meet with other cultural people, and they learn how the work culture here is. So in Australia, particularly, when you come to study here, the government allows you to work for some time per week as well, so you can gain some experience while studying as in Australia as well.
Another student asked that he is planning to apply in 2026. So, how early should he start preparing the documents and start doing his research?
Well, if the student, it depends on what year he is in at the moment. He is graduating from a high school, or he is graduating uh, from means a bachelor or a university. So I always suggest my applicants that they should start at least 6 months before when they're planning to do it, because so it will give them enough time to research about the universities, the course they want to study, uh, the city they will be looking to live in. So they should gather all this information before they make their mind.
Okay. And which would be the top three cities that students should aim for in Australia?
And for me, it's all the Australia is a beautiful country, and we every city in Australia is livable. So I wouldn't say, I don't want to give any comment that which city they should move. I leave it on the applicants. Maybe some people have their friends living in some area, their family members, but they can live anywhere in Australia. And main universities have their campus all around Australia as well. So people, when I came to Australia in 2007, I knew about only three cities: Sydney, Melbourne, and Perth. I even didn't know anything about Brisbane or other cities. So there are beautiful uh, landscape all around in Australia, and great cities where people are living and enjoying their life.
The next question is, how important is the statement of purpose and what makes it truly stand out?
Well, statement of purpose, I consider it is the main document which actually showcase one's personality and the purpose why they are intending to come to Australia for study. So it has to be very genuine, well researched, very clear about, means it should actually show that what's in your mind and what your goal are and what do you want to achieve. It can only be done with you know with your own research about what you're doing, because I've seen that people just copy paste others work, and it can be seen that they haven't done anything. So I always emphasize on one thing, that um, whoever is writing SOP, they should actually sit, give time to research what they are going to get in Australia and what kind of career they're looking into. If they are coming for study for a particular course, and if they have a goal that one day they would look for a permanent residency, then they need to look and research about that particular course and what outcomes that course would provide them, and whether those occupations are in high demand or not. People should look into that.
Question says that my IELTS score is borderline. Should I apply? Should I still apply or wait and retake the test? What would be your suggestion for him?
Well, coming to English test, the courses and the universities have their own, prerequisites that they need to achieve. specific requirement to get into some courses. For example, if someone is looking to do nursing, they must have 7 bands each in IELTS. Whereas if someone is looking to do bachelor in any other course, IT, that can be done with 6 bands each. And some universities have higher standards, so some of them are asking for 6.5. It depends whether if a person is qualifying that requirement for that particular course in particular university. If he's running, it means he or she is running short with that requirement, they should retake an exam and do the application.
Can you list down the financial documents that a student would need, especially if the sponsor is an extended family member or a friend?
All right. So as I mentioned that only in case of master degree or higher education, uh, an extended family member or a friend can sponsor. Otherwise, in all other vocational courses, it has to be from parents or a partner. No other person can sponsor it. So, in terms of extended family and friends, um, if we are getting it from a family, you need to prove the relationship with the family member, and that person who is actually showing funds must give an affidavit stating that he is, responsible for the financial uh, expenses of the student while he is in Australia. That that affidavit must be within the documents, and obviously the money has to be liquid. It can be in the shape of FD or sitting in a saving account. Some people think that they can show property papers or that they have, some properties, and the money is what is required is liquid. Or some people can get, I'm not sure what are the rules now, but they can get a study loan as well from banks.
And how would you describe the life after graduation, especially in terms of work rights and permanent residency in Australia?
All right. After graduation, the good part is if someone who is graduating and he is under 35 years of age and studied in higher education, they can apply post study work visa, which would give them another 2 years to stay in Australia, and they can work full time um, in their own field, and gain some experience that will eventually put them into within the criteria of applying permanent residency. The life is, I think, life as a student is good as well, and when you come into a post study visa, so you can work full time. I have seen very less people who regret, uh, you know, to be in Australia uh, after graduating, because they obviously there are a lot of opportunity. People can find job and work here.
One of the applicants asked that if I am over 30 and looking to study in Australia, will my age reduce my chances of getting a visa?
Oh, that's a really good question. If someone is over 30, which means he or she must have done their bachelor's 5 6 years ago, or maybe 7 years ago. Um, so there is a gap which needs to be justified uh, only with some documentation. If a person is working in his own, means a relative field, they can apply. But yes, he or she will be considered not as, genuine. Means why they're coming now after 6 or 7 years. But if they have all the evidences that, let's say someone has done bachelor and working in their own field, and now they want to pursue masters and higher education from Australia, they can definitely come. But it does make effect if they don't have enough evidence to justify the gap. That they will be, finding themselves in a trouble. See, justification comes if someone has been employed, they can show the employment contract, and the reference letters right after their graduation. And someone who has a gap and hasn't done much, it's really hard for them to justify because you cannot fake it. You need to provide evidence of the gap. So it can only be shown by bank statements, pay slips, employment contracts. If someone has these documents, there's no doubt that they can't achieve the visa or get the visa. Yes.
Okay. So, what are the cultural and academic differences that one must prepare for before coming to Australia as an international student?
Well, as I mentioned or stated before, that one should always do a research about the study. There is a big difference between, if we are talking about people coming from India, and the study environment in India and Australia is a big difference. People should get to know, or try to find out from their friends, family, or even try to contact with the university's academic staff, how they check their course guide, that what kind of units they are and what are the lectural, or workshop they conduct. They should prepare themselves. I've seen many people, they found themselves in the middle of nowhere when they have no clue what's happening here, and they say, oh, we didn't expect it, and they just come here to study. In terms of culture, I would suggest them to look into some local words, slang words, before they move to Australia, that how people speak, their accent, so they wouldn't be surprised when they, you know and many people find it hard to communicate even they can speak because of the difference in slang or accent. They must look into these things, and obviously they should research about the area they are going to live in as well, that about their surroundings, and they should know uh, where the public transport is and how they can get to their university or back to home, something like that.
Okay, so that is basically the end of our questions and queries. I would also like to ask that the Migration Star team very recently went to the Philippines. How was it like? Did you meet new clients?
Uh, it it was great, but uh, uh, it was great, but I must tell you that we need a whole podcast to discuss Philippines. I cannot actually describe in few words or sentence because we were there for 10 days and we have achieved a lot, and we met hundreds of people. There are hundreds of stories to tell. So let's have another podcast or session, then we can talk about it.
Yes, definitely. We can shoot another podcast for it. So, but overall experience, how acceptable are people over there in terms of immigration, and what are the opportunities that they seek generally?
See, Philippines, well, I wouldn't compare Philippines to India, but there are people, every second person also want to come, move out of their own country. Um, because I've seen that people are very educated, they speak good English, and therefore um, the people we interviewed there, young people are more, they are eligible for student visa, but we've seen many skilled workers there. They have experience, and uh, therefore they can apply for skilled migration.
Okay, so that is almost the end of our podcast. So, would you like to say anything to the viewers? Any advice? Anything about Migration Star? Whatever you wish.
Well, I would say to thanks to all the listeners out there. Australia welcomes genuine, well-prepared students, but navigating the new policy environment more than just paperwork, it needs planning, purpose, and the right partner. So at Migration Star, we bring experience, ethics, and efficiency to every application. So we welcome you to visit Migration Star website at www.migrationstar.com.au, and we look forward to helping you build your future in Australia. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you, Suhana.